This is the history of Edward Newgate, otherwise known as Whitebeard. Not much is known about Whitebeard's past. What we do know is that Whitebeard was not interested in treasure, but he merely just wanted a family. He was just another crew member in just another crew, going by his real name, Newgate. It's uncertain how the events that led to the rivalry between Whitebeard's crew and Roger's crew happened. They competed often, leading to much bloodshed. Over time, Whitebeard came to know certain members of Roger's crew and certain familiarities among them, such as seeing Shanks with Buggy. Somewhere along the Grand Line, Roger pulled away from Whitebeard and made it to Raftel, the place that holds the One Piece. Sometime later, the two grew to respect one another, and Whitebeard was one of those Rogers met shortly before his death to say goodbye. During the meeting, Roger explained the will of D. After the execution of Gold Roger, Shiki broke out of Impel Down and had a drinking session with Whitebeard, attempting to create an alliance, but Whitebeard refused. Also following the execution, Whitebeard became the undisputed power of the sea, for he was the only one capable of battling on equal terms with the Pirate King. Whitebeard was always fully aware of the events in the Grand Line playing out around him, such as the frequent dueling between Mihawk and Shanks. In time, the world government came to dub him, and 3 other pirates, Yonko, the 4 strongest pirates in the New World. Sometime later, Whitebeard went to Fishman Island and freed it from the pirate attacks, stating that the attacking pirates had nerve attacking his old friend's kingdom. He claimed the island as his territory, and in doing so, restored peace to the island. He defended Fishman Island because he was a good friend of King Neptune's, the two having drank together in the past. After Whitebeard declared Fishman Island as his territory, no pirate dared to harm any of the fishmen and merfolk. 3 years prior to Luffy setting out on his adventure, Whitebeard read about Portgas de Ace's increasing fame as the captain of the Spade Pirates, and how Ace refused the offer of the Shichibukai position. He later met Ace, who had spent a long time looking for him, seeking to defeat him and claim his throne as the strongest in the world. Right after the 5-day fight between Ace and Jinbei, Whitebeard approached the Spade Pirates aboard the Moby Dick, and told his crew that he would deal with Ace alone. Whitebeard defeated both Ace and his crew without a single scratch on him. After the confrontation, Whitebeard acknowledged Ace's strength and drafted him into his crew, eventually allowing him to become commander of his 2nd Division. Sometime later, Shanks arrived to talk to Whitebeard about the history of Ace and Blackbeard. Whitebeard talks about Gold Roger, seeing as Shanks was the cabin boy alongside Buggy. He also notes that the fight between him and Mihawk still ring in his ear, and when the subject of Shanks' missing left arm is brought up, Shanks says he bet it on the new age. Whitebeard and his crew went to prevent Ace's execution. Doflamingo stated that the Shichibukai were getting ready to engage the Whitebeard pirates. Whitebeard's mothership, the Moby Dick, had started to move, and Whitebeard had taken out all 23 ships, keeping an eye on him in an instant, leaving the Marines completely clueless as to where and when he would strike. As Whitebeard's New World allies began to arrive at Marine Ford, the Moby Dick as well as 3 other ships arose from the ocean, all having a coating applied on them so they could travel underwater, and when Ace demanded to know why they had come to save him, even though he ignored orders and pursued Blackbeard on his own, Whitebeard claimed that he had ordered Ace to do this, and had Marco confirm this. Whitebeard grinned as the shockwaves he had sent out returned as 2 massive tsunamis on either side of Marine Ford, thus signaling the start of the war. Aokiji froze the tsunamis, but Whitebeard shattered both him and his attack, leading Aokiji to fall into the bay and freeze it solid, creating a battleground for pirates and Marines. Soon Little Oars Jr. opened a path into the bay and began advancing toward Ace as Whitebeard ordered his men to give backup to him. As Whitebeard witnessed the defeat of Oars Jr., he was attacked by Vice Admiral Rance, but effortlessly defeated him. When Luffy and his allies fell into the bay, Whitebeard expressed confusion over what had just happened. Whitebeard was attacked by Crocodile, but Luffy protected him and revealed that he did so because Ace cares for Whitebeard. Upon seeing Luffy's straw hat, Whitebeard was reminded of how Shanks said he bet his left arm on the new age. After Luffy confirmed that he was here to save Ace, Whitebeard claimed that he would simply be throwing his life away. But Luffy defiantly told him that he would not decide this, and Luffy himself would be Pirate King. Impressed by Luffy's confidence, a grinning Whitebeard told him to not get in his way. Luffy informed him of the Marines' plans to execute Ace ahead of schedule, for which Whitebeard thanked him. He also stated that they must remain calm because Sengoku would never make the mistake of allowing the enemy to overhear his plan. And as Luffy declared his intention to save Ace even if it killed him, Whitebeard ordered Marco to not let Luffy die. Whitebeard noticed Squard walking up behind him. When informed that the allied crews in the rear were suffering heavy casualties, Whitebeard proclaimed his intention to join the battle himself, but was shocked when Squard stabbed him through the chest with his sword. Squard accused Whitebeard of making a deal with the Marines to have Ace and the pirates spared in exchange for sacrificing his New World allies. When Squard claimed Whitebeard did this despite knowing Squard lost his entire crew to Roger, Whitebeard noted that the Marines chose the man who would be most affected by Ace being Roger's son before hugging and forgiving him, whom he told to not hold the sins of Roger toward Ace, before stating that all of his sons are equal to him. As Whitebeard's men cleared a path for him, he was attacked by John Giant, who was easily defeated. Whitebeard saw the siege wall rise and looked in shock as Akainu destroyed the Moby Dick. After apologizing to his ship, Whitebeard attempts to destroy the siege wall, but it fails. They manage to advance further, but Akainu interrupts them. Monkey D. Garp decides to join the battle, and Whitebeard tells his crew not to be intimidated since he's an old man. As the fight continues between Akainu and Whitebeard, the old age catches up with Whitebeard and causes him to cough up blood, giving the opportunity for Akainu to strike. Whitebeard's men attempted to help him, but Whitebeard stated that he could not die because he needed to watch over his future sons, and chastised his allies for caring too much about his pride when they all gathered behind him in order to protect him. When Sengoku ordered the executioners to kill Ace, Whitebeard attempted to knock them out with Haki, but was interrupted by his illness and old age, incapacitating him once more. However, he was shocked to see Luffy knock out the executioners himself with his own Haki. Whitebeard orders his men to fully support Luffy while mentally asking him to show him what lies beyond this age as a carrier of the will of D. Kizaru pierces Whitebeard with a laser beam as Whitebeard looks on as Luffy frees Ace. Upon seeing Luffy and Ace fighting off Marines together, Whitebeard grinned in pride. Soon after, when Squard attempted to lead a suicidal charge into the plaza, Whitebeard stopped the ship with one hand and told Squard that it's painful for a father to bury his child, before announcing that his final order was for the pirates to safely return to the New World without him. Claiming there was no ship to take him to the next age, Whitebeard damaged the Marine headquarters with a shockwave and recalled his past as a young pirate before telling the Marines they would finish this here. Whitebeard's men refused to leave without him, but Whitebeard merely repeated his order before attacking the Marines before him. As Whitebeard continued attacking the Marines, he noticed Ace clearing a path to him with fire. When Ace knelt before him, Whitebeard said, "There's no need for words. Just answer me this one question, Ace. Was I a good father?" and laughed when Ace claimed he was. As Akainu fatally impaled Ace, Whitebeard shed upon tears, realizing his son was going to die. Whitebeard hit him with shockwaves that further damaged the Marine headquarters and split the plaza in half as Whitebeard continued to tear through the Marine ranks. However, he was shocked when Blackbeard and his crew arrived at Marine Ford. Upon seeing Blackbeard, Whitebeard attacked him and his crew with a shockwave while proclaiming his intention to avenge Thatch. When Blackbeard confronted him, Whitebeard attempted to hit him with another shockwave, but Blackbeard neutralized his powers only for Whitebeard to cut him down with his Bacento before wrapping a quake bubble around his head. Fearing for his life, Blackbeard had his crew members shoot and stab Whitebeard multiple times. However, Whitebeard survived and noted that someone other than Blackbeard would succeed Roger before proclaiming that One Piece existed. Bidding farewell to his sons, Whitebeard died as his coat fell from his shoulder to reveal his back, which had never received a wound from him running away.